In June 15, 1933, the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, under the baton of Frederick Stock, performed the world premiere of Symphony No. 1 by Florence Price. This performance marked the first time a major orchestra played music by a female African American composer. The Chicago Daily News declared it as a faultless work, a work that speaks its own message with restraint and yet with passion, worthy of a place in the regular symphonic repertoire. Written in 1931, the symphony has the traditional four-movement structure, scored for a standard Romantic era orchestra, but Price expanded the traditional percussion section with cathedral chimes, small and large African drums, wind whistle, and orchestra bells. Originally subtitled The Negro Symphony, Price's composition blends Afro-American and classical symphonic elements. The opening movement is reminiscent of Dvorak's New World Symphony, and both works are in the same key signature of E minor. The third movement, titled Juba Dance, is based on the syncopated rhythm of the African American folk dance, the Patting Juba. Price was the first composer to base a complete movement of the symphonic work on the rhythm of the Juba. Florence Beatrice Price was born in Little Rock, Arkansas on April 9, 1887. Her mother, Florence Smith, was a singer and pianist, and her father, Dr. James Smith, was a dentist. Although she showed a gift for piano playing, she showed an equal interest in composing. By the time she was 11, she sold her first composition to a publisher. In 1903, she was accepted at the New England Conservatory in Boston, one of the few schools to accept black students at the time. Although she enrolled in the double degree program, organ performance and piano teaching, she was becoming more serious than ever about her interest in composing. While at the conservatory, she wrote her first symphony and string trio, both based on Negro folk music. Unfortunately, neither of these scores has survived. She graduated from the conservatory with honors in 1906 and returned to Arkansas to start her teaching career. In 1910, at age 23, she accepted a prestigious teaching position as head of the music department at Clark University in Atlanta. During the summer of 1912, she returned to Little Rock to marry the successful lawyer Thomas Price. The racial tension in Little Rock was becoming intolerable through the late 1920s. When Price applied to the Arkansas Music Teachers Association, she was denied admission because of her color. During this time, Little Rock became ever more dismal and frightening. Like all southern states, Afro-Americans continued to be disenfranchised. Segregation came in the form of black codes, dictating most aspects of black people's life, including where they could work and live. Also, racial violence was on the increase. Price decided to move with her family to Chicago in 1928. More than 6 million African Americans left the South during the Great Migration. Price became a composer of choice for many Chicago's classical performers. Most of her music was performed in different churches, and it was in the repertoire of many soloists and ensembles as well. In 1932, Price entered the Rockman Wanamaker Music Contest and won the first prize in the orchestra category with her symphony in E minor, and the first prize in the solo instrument category with her piano sonata in E minor. Price states that her music was in many ways self-expressive, expression of her own heritage, expression of the rich and vast Afro-American musical idioms. Price's success was strong evidence of social progress that resonated deeply in the Afro-American communities. Despite her successes, Price wrote different letters in 1943 to Serge Koussevitzky, the principal conductor of the Boston Symphony Orchestra, asking him to consider performing one of her works. In these letters, one can hear in her own words the constant struggles that she faced during gender, race, and class in her career. From the letter sent on July 5, 1943, Price wrote, "My dear Dr. Kusevinsky, to begin with, I have two handicaps, those of sex and race. I am a woman, and I have some Negro blood in my veins. Knowing the worst, then, would you be good enough to hold in check the possible inclination to regard a woman's composition as long on emotionalism but short on virility and thought content, until you shall have examined some of my work? As to the handicap of race, may I relieve you by saying that I neither expect nor ask any concession on that score. I should like to be judged on merit alone." Price continued to compose throughout the 1940s and early 1950s, two concertos for violin and orchestra, three more symphonies, and many orchestra works as well as compositions for voice, piano, and organ. Price's work were performed throughout the United States and Canada, and she was earning recognition abroad. In 1951, she received a telegram from Sir John Barbirolli, conductor of the Hale Orchestra in Manchester, England. She wanted her to compose an orchestra work based on traditional spirituals. Price completed the score but could not make the performance due to persistent health problems. Price passed away at St. Luke's Hospital in Chicago on June 3, 1953. The U.W. Green Bay String Ensemble would perform Adoration. This work was originally written for organ in 1951. This arrangement for string is by Elanie Fine.